Go.
You walk into a bowling alley, you grab your shoes, a bowling ball, and a lane with pins on it. You're all set, right? Well, maybe for you and most of the people in this room, that's the case. But for over 10 million people around the world, there's so much more to the sport than that. Today, I'd like to discuss with you the sport of bowling, and maybe teach you a few things that you didn't know were included in that sport. Or maybe you didn't even know it was a sport at all. To help broaden your understanding of bowling, first, I'd like to tell you a few fun facts about bowling and some different versions. Secondly, I'd like to talk to you about some different bowling balls. And finally, we'll discuss oil patterns. So what is so interesting to those over 10 million people about throwing a ball down a lane? Well, there's many cool and unique things. First off, there's more than one game. There's your basic 10-pin, which when you go to the bowling alley, that's what's set up there. And then there's Baker game, which is very similar. It's just that instead of you bowling all the frames yourself, there's a team of 5 people and you each bowl 2 frames. And then there's your basic no tap, which you bowl, if you get a strike, it's a strike, but there's also a second way to get strikes. If it's a 9-pin no tap, that means if you get a 9 count on your first ball, that's also a strike. And then there's duck bowling, which is basically a small variation of bowling with mini pins and a mini bowling ball. Did you know that there's proof of bowling dating as far back as 5200 BC with the Egyptians? We've come a long way from throwing rocks on the floor. In fact, there are all sorts of balls today. Today, balls are made from plastic, they're made from urethane, reactive resin, and partisol. They also have weight blocks in them. These are high or low mass weight blocks, which are used for balance and rotation and movement down the lane. Balls are made from different materials to be used for different things, such as people's skill level or the lane conditions, such as oil. Which brings me to my final point. Ever seen a guy pushing a machine down the lanes at the bowling alley? You probably thought he was cleaning, right? Well, actually, he's putting down an oil pattern. The machine lays down a bunch of different oil patterns depending on what's put into the machine. They're all at different thicknesses, shapes. Usually they're uniform, like the house shot, which is what you typically bowl on when you go to the bowling alley, and it's what a lot of leagues use too. But if you want a little more competitive edge, you move up to the sport shot, which can be hundreds of different patterns, and they're what the pros bowl on. There's so much more to learn about bowling, which balls to use on which patterns, etc. Now that you have learned some things about the sport of bowling, you now know that there's many cool facts in different types of games, that there's many different types of balls, and there's a bunch of different oil patterns. While you're not as knowledgeable as the pros, you're well on your way to a better understanding of the sport. So go bowl some strikes.